More than 400 local fast food restaurant workers are losing their jobs as a franchisee closes more than 24 Burger King restaurants. Take a look at some of the cities where BK locations are permanently closing. Looks like we're talking about 26 locations in Southeast Michigan and Flint. Consumer investigator, help me Hank Winchester is live with a look at why this is happening and who it's affecting. Hank, I just went to Burger King on Woodward in Royal Oak yesterday. The 4-year-old, he wanted some chicken fries and they were closed. And I thought, what in the world?
Hey, you got a 40-something-year-old here that wanted a Whopper, so I feel you, right? I mean, take a look. We've seen so many people here pulling up to the drive-thru of this location on Gratiot, realizing last minute it was closed. If you take a look here inside the window, Kimberly, Devin, you'll see the cups, the straws, everything set like they're open for business, but this is just one of several locations that's closed. Unique Brown wanted a Whopper.
A lot of people like Burger King. They come for the Whoppers, so I don't know why they closed it.
But her local BK closed for good.
I'm not surprised. Every time I come here, they always out of something. I was very skeptical coming here.
And it's not just this Burger King location on Gratiot that's closed. 26 other locations in Metro Detroit have either closed or will soon. And that impacts 424 employees. These closures started on St. Patrick's Day, and all those locations will be closed by April 15th. The franchise citing economic conditions and a battle with corporate. In a letter to the Michigan Department of Labor saying EYM King of Michigan will permanently cease operations in Michigan due to unforeseen business circumstances and not being able to reach a resolution with Burger King Corporation.
It's like the only Burger King right here.
Yeah.
And I work up the street, so.
Regular Burger King customers like Nate Muhammad, not surprised by this move.
It's all about what you invest in the location, whoever owns this franchise building, and it's also about customer service.
Back out here live, unclear right now whether the franchisee in this case is still working with BK Corporate to try to work out some sort of a deal, but the telling sign that things are not going well. Many of these locations, like the one here on Gratiot, they've already closed. You can see somebody here, they're closed, ma'am, I'm sorry. People pulling up here to the drive-thru. Many other locations will be closed by April 15th. We're live here tonight on the east side. Hank Winchester, help me, Hank. Back to you.
Hank, I might have missed it, but where'd you get the Whopper? You've got a Whopper in your hand, right? Is that real?
Yeah, so I went to the location. Yeah, it's real.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to the location over there on Lafayette, then drove over here to Gratiot. But I'll tell you what's interesting. So many people keep driving through, like this woman is right now, because this location just closed yesterday. So it took a lot of people by surprise.
Yeah, that was me.
Back to you.
All right, Hank.
Meanwhile, McDonald's has joined other big firms in layoffs. According to a Reuters report quoting the Wall Street Journal, the fast food chain is closing its U.S. offices for the time being this week to inform their employees about its layoff plans as a part of a broader company restructuring. Now, the company asked U.S. employees and some international staff to work from home from Monday through Wednesday. That way, the company can tell the impacted employees virtually. The Reuters report showed at the moment, though, that it is, however, unclear as to how many employees will be laid off. McDonald's, in an internal email, said that during the week of April 3rd, we will communicate key decisions related to roles and staffing levels across the organization. McDonald's also requested employees to cancel all in-person meetings with vendors and other outside parties at its headquarters. The fast food chain had announced in January that it would review corporate staffing levels as a part of an updated business strategy, which could further lead to layoffs in some areas and also expansion in others. McDonald's is expected to begin announcing key decisions by Monday.
So, what's with this cocktail guy anyway? He says I saved his life, which I'm not even sure I did, and my reward is dinner and dancing at Taco Bell. I mean, hey, I like Mexican food, but come on.
Your tone is quasi-facetious, but you do not realize that Taco Bell was the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars.
So?
So? Now all restaurants are Taco Bell.
No way.
Welcome to Taco Bell. Enjoy your meal, sir.
Valley of the Jolly Green Giant. Good things from the garden. Garden in the valley, valley of the jolly green giant.
Take that.
Oh, here comes the Neanderthal.
Spartan over there, please. Lieutenant. Thank you. Would you, yes.
Hi.
And,
How you guys doing?
Mellow, thank you.
Hi. Yes.
Enjoy your meal, sir.
Good to go.
Be the only one that feels like, and I hate to say this, but when is World War III gonna pop off? Like, when is it all gonna come crashing down so I won't have to go back to work? I won't have to pay rent. I won't have to pay these student loans. I won't have to pay these bills. You know, like, it's gonna happen. So it's like, okay, now, hurry up. I just don't freaking. I can't be the only one feeling like that. Like, man, America is slavery. Being here is straight economic slavery. And low key, just, I'm kind of like, all right, let it all come crashing down so I won't have to pay bills. I won't have to go to work no more, and I can kind of just be free and do my own thing, even though it's going to probably be dangerous and really scary. In a way, I'm kind of like, whatever happens, happens. YOLO, we'll be all right. Anyway, I know Kate is.
Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakodash. As always, double honors to our apostles, our elders at Great Millstone that taught us his truth, and who are ruling well through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Shalom, peace and love to you, Akim, that are prophets and teachers, who are hazarding your lives daily to push the true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, hazarding your lives to do so, all right, helping to edify the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom, peace and love to you believers, you Akim, you Fiakwathi, and me, you children. We're waiting for these last but final prophecies to happen in the earth, all right, in which you're seeing these prophecies transpire, the last and final of them, right before your very eyes. If you have the eyes and ears to see and hear. All right, you have the big layoff, all right, which you have Burger King laying off. You have Burger King closures. You have McDonald's laying off. You have McDonald's closures. You have TGIF, all right, which is the Fridays restaurant chains, which are closing. All right, you have Cracker Barrels that are closing. All right, these are just different topics, all right, that I'm going to go into. All right, you have the video of the woman, which this video was shared by the beloved elder down in South Carolina, Manata Zakba. Okay, in which he did a lesson. And in the beginning of the lesson, all right, he showed this video of a woman who was saying that she couldn't wait for the economy collapse. All right, you have FEDNOW, all right, and the CBDC. I was there bringing that online supposedly in July. Okay, and that's not too far away. And what comes after that? Well, the MOTB, which is the RFID CHIP and the brain CHIP. So this is definitely the hopeful year that all the prophecies of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai come to pass. All right, and we're hoping and praying for these things to happen. All right, the title of this lesson is going to be The Big Layoffs, the Dollar Collapse. You people will be humble. All right, in which I have a few articles that I'm going to go into dealing with those particular topics that I just mentioned, which the first is coming from a website called Breitbart. And it says McDonald's temporarily closes U.S. offices as it prepares for layoffs. The fast food mega corporation, McDonald's, have temporarily closed its U.S. offices in preparation for a wave of layoffs as part of the company's reconstruction plan. And you know what's going to happen eventually? All right, if McDonald's is still around, all right, you're going to go to a McDonald's and there's not going to be any humans inside of it. It's going to be machines flipping burgers, you know, cooking fries, all right, making chicken nuggets, all right, serving you drinks, all right, soft serve, coffee, whatever the hell that you could possibly get from McDonald's, which if you're still eating this garbage anyway, all right, something is clearly wrong with you. You're psychotic. All right, if you're still eating McDonald's, all right, the Golden Arches, all right, something is wrong with you any goddamn way. But ultimately, all right, this is a mega corporation that employs hundreds of millions of people, all right, throughout the United States and across the world. All right, throughout the United States and across the world. But yet they're experiencing mega layoffs, which this is, like I said, part of a mega reconstruction program. All right, this is one from the Daily Mail, and this is dealing with Burger King. It says iconic restaurant chains from Burger King to TGIF Fridays are disappearing as they struggle to turn a profit. So is your local closing this year. All right, so is your local closing this year, meaning your local restaurant. Although modern chains like Chick-fil-A, Sweet Green have successfully captured swaths of the United States restaurant market, some legacy outlets were irreversibly damaged by the C-PAN and labor shortages. All right, Applebee's is on the list. All right, Boston Market is on the list. All right, Buffalo Wild Wings is on that list. Burger King. All right, Cracker Barrel. All right, Denny's. All right, Fridays. IHOP. Jack in the Box. Ruby Tuesday. Steak and Shake. Subway. Let's see. We mentioned Fridays, Quiznos. All right, I believe that's the sub place, right? All right, which all of these are pretty much fast food restaurants where you can go and you can get some cheap ass food. All right, you don't have to worry about, spending a bunch of money. All right, in which if you wanted to take a woman on a cheap ass date, you would take her to one of these. All right, you would take her to an Applebee's. Ultimately, I don't know for sure how she would feel about that, but shit, she should be happy she's still getting the meal. Anyways, these places are closing down. All right, and this is should bring back, a scene from the movie Demolition Man. There was a particular guy, he was like a noble, and he promised, to take the main character, and I believe that's Sylvester Stallone. He promised to take him to, a fancy restaurant, and he named Taco Bell. And the dude's like, look, he said that I saved his life. I don't even remember that. But then he takes me to Taco Bell. So the woman said, look, your quasi sarcastic, comments or whatever, something along the lines of that, your quasi sarcastic comment, you don't even realize that Taco Bell was the only restaurant to survive the franchise wars. So Taco Bell within this movie was like a fancy upscale restaurant, but he was remembered as like this low budget, Mexican restaurant with bad food. But it was boosted to being like one of the most top upscale 5-star restaurants that people were eating at during the future because it survived the franchise wars. Well, beginning in 2020 with the C-PAN, all right, this has hurt, the economy, and it's hurting these particular businesses. So you're going to see more and more businesses closing down. Also, the ripple effects of that, the economy, all of that. All right. Now, you're going to see the disappearing of cheap victuals. All right. Dealing with inflation as well as businesses disappearing. The book of 2 Ezra 16:21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great destruction. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and others that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So because the economy is hurting, you're going to see these cheap restaurants disappearing on top of the food prices skyrocketing. All right. These business closures are also recorded within the scriptures. And I believe I brought this scripture out within my last lesson, the book of Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. All right, because these days that we're in right now, all right, aren't going to be pleasurable. All right, to bring it back around to that woman that made the comment, in which she said, that she can't wait for the economy to collapse, for her debt to be gone, for her student loans to be gone, to not have to pay bills. You saying that shit with a full stomach. You saying that while your bowels are full. You're saying that while your kidneys, are full. All right, but wait until you're completely empty. All right, and you're hungry and you're starving. You're going to have a different mind state. All right, you're going to want to go back into slavery. All right, just like the children of Israel back in the time of Egypt, all right, in which there was no faith in them. The Heavenly Father was showing that he's going to deliver them and did deliver them. And what was the statement that they made? Oh, that we were back in Egypt. As soon as they ran into a little adversity and as soon as they were barely starving, all right, they were ready to go back into slavery just for food and drink. So that's going to be the mind state of you individuals. And I'll get into that later. But anyways, it says, while the sun and the light and the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and grinding cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. And the doors shall be shut in the streets. And when the sound of grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low, in which the keepers of the house trembling are those that keep watch over this economy. All right, when you go into the word house, or rather the word steward, which is someone that watches over the house. A steward is someone that watches over an house or a household affairs. All right, that's where you get the word economy from within the Greek, the book of Luke 16:1. And he said also unto his disciples, there was a certain rich man who had a steward, and the same was accused unto him that he had wasted his goods, which his goods being his resources, being his money. All right, the word for steward is G3623, which is oikonomos. All right, steward, economy. That's where you get the word economy. All right, it could be a superlieutenant. It could be a chamberlain of a city. All right, someone that watched over the city's money, the city's resources. So the keepers of the house are those that watch over the economy. All right, the word economy within the online etymology, household management, from Latin oikonomia, source from French économie, Spanish economia, German oikonomy, etc., from Greek oikonomia, household management, thrift, from oikonomos, manager, steward. See? So the keepers of the house, all right, are the stewards over this economy. They're the ones that are over the economy of America, over the world, but yet they're trembling. And why are they trembling? All right, because this big collapse is coming. All right, this big collapse, the collapse of the dollar, the collapse of structure, the collapse of order. All right, in the event of this, all right, when grinding cease, all right, the people, all right, are going to become angry. All right, they're going to become extremely hostile. All right, They're going to kill each other for resources. They're going to commit murder just to eat. They're going to try to take what others have because they lack, because they're ill prepared, in which the best way to prepare is to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to increase in the fear of Yahweh and in the faith of his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. Now, more on the word grinding. This is from Matthew 24:40. Then shall two be in the field, and the one shall be taken, and the others left. Two women shall be grinding at the mill, and the one shall be taken, and the other left. When you go into the word grinding, the word is there, G229, aletho, and it says to grind. It was accustomed to send women and female slaves to the mill houses to turn the hand mills. And that right there should prove to you women that you're still in slavery. All right, you're in slavery. All right, you have to go grind. You have to go grind. All right, when our economy was set up, or when our nation was set up, all right, women desired to be married, to be wives. All right, they didn't go labor. All right, some of them may have. All right, but for the most part, they wanted to be at home, man. All right, bearing children and keeping the house. All right, but it's in this society where they desire to, all right, have the same opportunities as a man, but yet complain at the fact that they have to work and have to pay bills. All right, and have to pay student loans and have to pay debt. Well, that could easily have not been the case if you would have just shut the fuck up and been somebody's wife. All right, now, defining the word grind, and this is coming from Google. All right, because you got people that'll say, look, I'm on the grind, especially if Jake, I'm on the grind. What is the grind considered? It's considered hard, dull work. And this is coming from Google. All right, an excessively hard-working student. All right, so someone that's on the grind is someone that's working hard. All right, they're doing hard or rigorous labor. All right, and yet you got Jake that are on the grind, but yet they're still poor. The book of Sirach 11:11, there is one that laboreth and taketh pains and maketh haste, and is so much more behind. So behind on what? You're behind on the rent. You're behind on the lights. You're behind on the gas. You're behind on the heat. All right, you're behind on your phone bill. You're behind on your car payment. You're behind on your student loans. There is also that is slow and have need of help, wanting ability and full of poverty. Yet the eye of Yahweh looketh upon him for good and set him up from his lower state. And this is what we're anticipating. And this is the reason why, look, we're sincerely happy. All right. What the woman, said in the video was true. All of the debt will be forgiven, or go away rather. All right. Not forgiven, but the debt will go away. All right. Once this economy collapses, all right, you don't have to worry about credit card debt. You don't have to worry about student loans. You don't have to worry about, rent, etc., etc. All right. So, hey, look, we're looking forward to this. All right. But we're hoping that in these times, the Heavenly Father, through his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, will give us the strength to withstand temptation. All right. Because it's going to be extremely hard. And that Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai will provide for us. And lifted up his head from misery, so that many that saw it marveled at him. That's what's going to happen. When Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai sets up us out of this, or takes us out of this poverty, all right, many that seen us, or especially they of the other nations, are going to marvel. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches coming from Yahweh. So this woman wants the economy to collapse, to escape paying bills, student loans, and debt, and etc. This woman made this statement with the full stomach, laying in the comfort of her own home. All right, laying in the bed in her pajamas, you know, whatever the hell she was at, she was comfortable. Well, when this economy collapsed and the society collapsed and the government collapsed, that's a whole nother world. All right, you made that statement with 100% surety that you will survive, but you made that statement while you're full, while you're not hungry, while you have the convenience of the internet, while you have the convenience of heat, you know, or air conditioning, while you have the convenience of light. All right, while you're able to be safe and sound in your own home. It's a whole nother world, all right, when the society collapsed. And that's the reason why the scriptures say back in Sirach 11:25, in the day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. In the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. All right, which means what? That means that while everything is all good, you know, why ain't nothing really happening? You know, you can still, you know, go shopping at the grocery store. All right, you can still go out and have, you know, cheap food. All right, you can go back home. All right, you can Uber home. You can whatever, take the subway. You know, you ain't really in danger. All right, all of that is cool while the time is prosperous. But when you're in the time of affliction, your ass gonna forget about the prosperity. All right, you're gonna forget that you made that statement, and you're gonna be one of the ones lined up in that line to get the MOTB, to get right back in slavery. All right, to become a perpetual slave. The book of Numbers 11 and verse 4, and the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, who would give us flesh to eat? We will remember the flesh which we did eat in Egypt freely, the cucumbers, the melons, the leeks, and the onions and the garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all besides this manna before our eyes. And the manna was as coriander seed, and the color thereof was as the color of bdellium, which, according to the scriptures, when people ate it, it tailored itself to their taste, to their liking. Whatever they wanted to eat or whatever they desired at that moment, it tastes just like that. And the people went about and gathered it and ground it into meal and beat it into mortar and baked it in pans and made cakes of it. And the taste of it was as the taste of fresh oil. And when the dew fell from the camp in the night, the manna fell upon it. Then Moses heard the people weep throughout their families, every man in the doors of his tent, and the anger of Yahweh was kindled greatly, and Moses also was displeased. So, in a time of adversity, all right, this the spirit that is typically the spirit that comes upon Jake, a spirit of lack of faith and complaining. All right, all because you're desiring to feed and fill your stomach. So you made that statement in confidence, all right, or in security. But wait till where that prosperity is going away. Yeah, you got to pay bills and all of that. You got to worry about student loans. All right, but you don't look like you missing a meal, and you look like you got a roof over your head. I don't know if you live with somebody or if she lived alone or whatever, but however, you're in a state of security. All right, but wait until that security goes away. What's going to go away as well? Your confidence. All right, your pompous and pride. That was a prideful statement, as if she just knew that she was going to be saved. Now, however, you can be saved if you repent and if you accept Yahweh Shai and believe upon him, and ultimately to get a husband, one that fears Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, hopefully he's a part of the elect and you can survive. All right, but right now, all right, yeah, the statement that she made, all right, in regards to wanting the economy to go down, yeah, we do as well. But ultimately, we do that in the fear of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai and in the hope for the kingdom of heaven. All right, the book of Sirach 31:4 says this: the poor laboreth in his poor estate, And when he leaveth off, he is still needy. And that's the case for the majority of our people. All right, so yeah, you should want this place to go down. But ultimately, all right, you should want for the kingdom to be established, for Yahushua to come and hoping for the deliverance and salvation, because we don't know if we're going to survive, all right, in these times to come. All right, these bad times, we're just hoping that we are. So you have to repent. You have to get right in your mind. Otherwise, you're going to be in that chip line. All right, and you're going to get destroyed, or you're going to die of famine or some horrible death that is prepared for those that are the wicked, beginning with the nation of Israel. So the end of the dollar, and this comes from the federalreserve.gov, and this is from March 15, 2023. The Federal Reserve announces July launch for the FEDNOW services. Chicago, the Federal Reserve announced that the FEDNOW services will start operating in July and provided details on the operation for launch. The first week of April, the Federal Reserve will begin the formal certification of participants for launch of the service. Early adopters will complete a customer testing and certification program informed by feedback from the FEDNOW pilot program to prepare for sending live transactions through the system. Certifications encompasses, all right, a comprehensive testing curriculum with defined expectations for operational readiness and network experience. In June, the Federal Reserve and certified participants will conduct production validation activities to confirm readiness for the July launch. We couldn't be more excited about the forthcoming FEDNOW launch, which will enable every participating financial institution, the smallest to the largest, and from the corners of the country, to offer a modern instant payment solution, said Ken Montgomery, first vice president of the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston and FEDNOW program executive. With the launch drawing near, we urge financial institutions and their industry partners to move full steam ahead with preparations to join the FEDNOW services. Yeah, because they're going to collapse the dollar. And the time is going to come where you're not going to be able to buy and sell with the American dollar. And that's for here and that's for abroad. What does it say on the dollar? That this is a legal tender for debts, both domestic and abroad, or something along the lines of that. All right, the time is going to come when that dollar is going to be done away with. And that brings me to a quote from Thomas Jefferson, in which he said, paper is poverty. It is only the ghost of money and not money itself. Yeah, because real money is gold and silver. All right, and because this dollar is so scant, like it states within Micah 6 and 10, and are they yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked, and the scant measures that is abominable? All right, the scant measure is the dollar. All right, because this isn't real money. So every time it's spent or it's printed or made, they produce more and more. It causes inflation. All right, it causes more debt. All right, that's what makes it so scant, to the point where it has gotten to the time that we're in now. All right, in which this inflation is about to bring this place down. All right, it's a great crashing. Zephaniah 1 and 10, and it shall come to pass in that day, said Yahweh, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate and the howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Yeah, because his economy is going to crash. The dollar is going to crash. All right. And what is the howling? All right. The howling is the lamentations, all right, of the people because of, the crashing. Howl ye inhabitants of Mektesh. All right. For all the merchant people are cut down. All that bear silver are cut off. What is Mektesh? First of all, it was an ancient merchant city. All right, that was known for for being a merchant. All right, for being a seaport. All right, where a lot of buying and selling and trading went on. All right, what are inhabitants? The inhabitants of the city. So the inhabitants are about to weep and howl because the dollar is getting ready to crash. This whole system and economy is going to crash. All right. As it states back in Micah 6:11, shall I count them pure with the wicked balance and with the bag of deceitful weights? Yea, because true money is gold and silver. And you have changed that to being the money that people use now, which is paper. Like Thomas Jefferson said, it's the ghost of money. It ain't real money. And it causes more debt on top of debt. And this is the dollar is a great fraud. It's a great hoax. It's a great fraud. All right. And you've used that, all right, to basically control the world and to rob and take away resources. Reading on, it says, for the rich men thereof are full of violence, and the inhabitants thereof have spoken lies, and their tongue is deceitful in their mouth. All right, you have changed the monetary system from being gold and silver, which is abominable. It's an abomination. And because of that, you're going to be destroyed. Now, the fact that you did that, all right, it helped you to increase your merchandise. All right, it helped to increase your traffic. It helped to make America one of the greatest nations upon the planet Earth. All right, as it states within Ezekiel, the 28th chapter, all right, it mentions Tyre, but this prophecy is dealing with America because America is situated similar as Tyre, which was a merchant city as well. All right, and it had a lot of ships that brought goods to it to be sold, to be brought and traded. All right, as America does over the whole earth right now. But as you see, there's a de-dollarization within the world. All right, you have countries that are cutting off the American dollars, which the elites want that to happen anyway. Because what's going to replace that is going to be the MOTB system. All right, the RFID CHIP and the brain CHIP. So they're developing what is known as FEDNOW or the CBDC to come online as a replacement to the dollar. All right, that will keep all of the nations around the world within a stranglehold. And then that's when they'll implement what is known as the RFID CHIP and the brain CHIP. All right, which will give people the access to that FEDNOW or that CBDC. Ezekiel 28:16, by the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence. Thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of Yahweh, and will destroy thee, O covering cherub, all right, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground, and I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. So this bitch is going to come down. Or America is going to be thrown down. Thou hast defied thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring forth a fire from the midst of thee, and it shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All they that know thee among the people shall be astonished at thee, and thou shalt be a terror, and never shalt thou be any more. All right, so this place is getting ready to be destroyed. You can go and research, the history of how, the Federal Reserve, all right, took control of the monetary system. All right, how the money was originally backed by gold and silver. All right, they did away with the gold standard. All right, they tied the dollar to OPEC, to oil. All right, that's being done away with. That's being unraveled. And now you're just left with paper notes that's not backed by anything. And every time you spend it, it generates debt. But however, these nations around the world are entered into an agreement with this great whore. All right, in order to be able to use these dollars as the world reserve currency. All right, so the whole system was based off of iniquity. It was based off of wickedness. And it increased the traffic and the merchandise, all right, of America, this great whore. All right, but it was done out of wickedness. All right, they used violence. They warred against people. All right, they took land. They took possession of things. They put sanctions on them. All right, and all these nations are getting upset, and to the point where they're going to use, all right, intercontinental ballistic missiles to help destroy this great whore. All right, to reduce it down to ashes. And this will be the judgment of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua upon this great whore and everyone that's within this place, all right, that are left, that are not delivered, being a part of the elect. All right, this economy is failing. All right, big layoffs are happening. You know, the dollar is collapsing. All right, and people will be humbled, all right, by these particular events that are transpiring. So with that, I truly hope that this lesson has been edifying. All praises, honor, and glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, double honors to our apostles, our elders at Great Millstone, and peace and love, salutations, and mercy be unto the hopeful elect. Shalom and the Bible Bar, Kwam Bakiyam. Shalom.